Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Many of you, for over a year, have been recommending that I listen to Avi Kaplan's solo music. Now, if you're like, ooh, Avi, that sounds familiar, that's because he was the bass of Pentatonix until about 2017, and then he left to pursue a solo career. But we have yet to investigate any of that solo career, and that is changing today. We're going to be listening to Change on the Rise. This was released in March of 2019. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's all vocal. I don't know if there's accompaniment. I have no idea. Let's get to it.
Without the light or the darkness come, hold through the night, the shadows will run.
I love right now that we just have his voice, and it sounds like a very it's a drum. I think that it sounds like maybe is a lower pitched drum. Oh, it sounds almost like a kick in there, but it's got a softness to it, so maybe it isn't. I love this layering of his voice on the mms. It just immediately grabbed me. He's always had a wonderful combination of just a very deep and mellow sound that has a lot of ping on it at the same time as having a lot of space back here. So it's got a really good balance in the tone. I love the clarity of his voice that's also present. He just has like so many ding, 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 ding things that make his tone quality absolutely delicious. Let's keep going.
Fend off the enemy, sing out the jubilee. With all the fire we can breathe, we're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know, night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling, I feel a change on the rise.
Wow, there's so much I'm loving in here. I love the groove. It's just I think it's that low drum that keeps us going. And now we've got some other very acoustic feeling percussion that's happening. It feels like this might all be even done on a person's body. I love the way that his voice is produced as well. So not only does he have like just golden vocal folds and vocal tract, but the production is fantastic. I think his voice in that first verse, I think it was just him. And of course you have the mms and kind of some backing vocals that I believe are all him as well. He has a very wide range. But it was very interesting when he got into what I think was a chorus. I heard a doubling of his voice, and it helped the whole sound feel like just a little bit wider, a little bit grander. Really cool effect to do. I'm always thinking about how, when you have tons of vocals, how do you produce those vocals so that there's still a lot of variety in them? Because you can get much more variety with different instruments. How do we get that same emotional, overwhelming feel with just tons of vocals? This is very cool. Very, very cool. I'm going to listen. Let's go back to the chorus again. Listen for that doubling.
Fire we can breathe. We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river.
Oh, there's also an extremely low note that's happening at the very, very bottom here. I didn't even notice it the first time because I was listening to that production. There's like mega low bass note that's happening in here, which is part of what helps establish that groove as well. Sorry to interrupt.
We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. What good's a man who's lost his soul? Can't take a stand when his flame's gone cold.
I like the variety in the phrase lengths here a bunch. It's really cool how he, right after stand, essentially there was a bigger break, which helped us to greater appreciate the moment that his voice re-entered. I love the focus on some of these vowels. Like you hear so much buzz and ring on them. It's just like a perfectly placed vowel. He has, he's able to get like a teensy bit of snarl in the super yummy deep bass sound.
Can't take a stand when his flame's gone cold. Friend of the enemy, sing out the jubilee with all the fire we can breathe. We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know.
I think that most of the pitched sounds in this are his voice. Most of them, it sounds like we've got a tambourine that's entered at this point as well. I'm curious if there were any other pitch instruments in there too, but whoa, it's got really like a large range of pitches that we're hearing. It's very, very, very satisfying, I think. And I think it's mostly just his voice here. I also am loving the feeling of it overall. It reminds me a little bit of The Who, this feeling like almost like you're going to go to a battle, but it also feels like I think partly because of the imagery as well, feels very Native American, like some sort of ceremony, or it feels fiery, like it's nurturing some sort of fire inside for sure. Really cool.
You can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise.
I think this is all Avi here. This is beautiful. All like a humming choir.
I feel a change on.
That's so funny. There's a humming choir in the background of one of the scenes of Madame Butterfly by Puccini, and it just really. It also feels like an evening time kind of thing, and it feels like a very interesting, perhaps an inspiration for this moment. I love hearing all of this range in his voice. You know, he's able to go very high in his falsetto, but we usually just would hear him in mostly lower things and some mid-upper range in Pentatonix, but this sounds like it is showing off a much wider breadth of his vocal capabilities.
I feel a change on the. I feel a change on the ride. I feel a change on the. I feel a change on the ride.
Ooh, Avi, you're sounding like a little rock there.
I feel a change on the. I feel a change on the ride.
Maybe that's like more of a blues influence. I think he did jazz and a little bit of classical music also before really diving into a cappella. One more time.
I feel a change on the ride.
Nice grit.
We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know, night time, the morning time.
Fierce.
Yeah, we're going strong, headed.
I love, so the way that this was arranged here, you had suddenly so much more space between those beats where you had a lot more sound. So that humming choir was sustained underneath, so you really felt like the sound was enveloping you all the way around, had lots of long lines in it. And now you've got just these background vocals that are happening on big beats, so it suddenly feels spacious, and you have this like whoosh that comes in between. Really cool. Good arrangement. So let's go back to that moment before so you hear the change. And it cuts out.
We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know, night time.
Good growly little notes in there too.
We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise.
Wow.
We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know, night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise. I feel a change on the rise.
Okay, I think that's it in there, and I wanted to let it go through. But we're gonna go back. First of all, that same like almost snarl focus that he has on an A vowel, he's using it in rise, and sometimes it goes to a very similar sort of vowel tracking position in rise. And I hear it every single time. It just hits this great focus in the voice each time he sings that word rise. It's fantastic. Overall, he keeps that buzz and the whole time, but it's just so present on the word rise as well. It's great, fantastic. I am feeling like I need to like grab a torch and join in with them. It's just got a really overwhelming feel of emotion. Like, yeah, let's go do something. And we're going to go party in the forest. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe I'm going to get my shard blades and like go destroy evil creatures. It's possible. Anything could happen. But I love this feeling. It's primal. And it's so cool to hear that sort of primal sound captured in a mostly vocal piece, right? Oh, so cool. Let's go back and listen to that again. There are a couple other things I wanted to point out at the end, but it just had a feeling that I wanted to ride with you for a bit.
We're singing all day, you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know, night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel.
So I wanted to point out like all of the different kinds of layers of vocals that are happening. You have ones that are happening with those big beats that are still there. And that's when you get your lowest vocals in a bunch of times. So that helps. It feels like the beat is dropping each time. They help emphasize that. I love the occasional backup vocals that are happening with him on like, you know, or oh Lord, I think it's happened there as well. And it's like just some vocals that are put really far back in the mix, almost like he's got like a choir accompanying him right there. Really fun. And then there's also like a counter melody that's coming in a bunch of times as well on ooh or and then you have his main too. And I think there's a couple other things, but it's cool how many different layers are happening. And when you have to record that many layers, it can be vocally just exhausting, and you have to be super, super precise. When people are singing together, like side by side, you can feel when everybody's about to take a breath and hit an S or something, and you can coordinate those consonants and those breaths. But when you're recording all of these parts on top of each other, it has to be so precise, and you don't have that physical feeling present to do that with. So anyhow, it's very impressive to me to hear all of these different layers. Let's go back just a little bit, and then I'll let it run.
Low tide, you know, night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel
I can't believe I waited this long to hear Avi's solo music. You guys, I should have listened to you sooner. It's so good. It's so impressive how he's going through so much of his range. I love hearing all of his voice utilized like this. But in addition, I just loved the way he was able to get so many different kinds of feelings and emotions across with just a voice and some percussion. It's really difficult to create those kinds of feelings with just a voice, right? We can get that with different kinds of instruments and a plethora of sounds, but even when it's just his voice alone, that's even more complicated. Super, super impressed by what he's done here. And oh man, I want to hear more. So definitely make some recommendations down below. You know, it's kind of rough when we see members leave an a cappella group, right? It's difficult. Recently, Jay announced that he was leaving voice play, and I think a bunch of our hearts were like, oh man. But just keep in mind, like, this is what can come of that. So I feel very excited when I hear that one of the members is saying like, hey, I got to go pursue something else, but like I'm still doing music, and they have all of this history of great music that they've made together. It's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely looking forward to hear what else Avi does in the future. If you want to join me here live on YouTube, I'm here every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Arizona time. And if you want to just get to know me better, hang out, I don't know, play video games, you can find me on Patreon. We hang out with our patrons a lot, so you should join us. And you can also learn more about singing in general or music at thecharismaticvoice.com. I hope to see you somewhere soon.